Revelation chapter 18. I'm going to start and just read verse 9 and 10. I know we already have done verse 9 and 10, but just getting you back to where we are. 9 and 10 starts off a whole slew of verses that go together. So we'll jump on 9 and 10, and then we'll jump in there and get started. So here we go. Revelation chapter 18, starting with verse 9, it says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come."
Okay, this is going to be a repeat of where we ended, but it'll start us out. In 1 hour, the city will be destroyed. The city that rules the world, the Antichrist capital of this earth. Every TV station, every radio station, every bit of social media will be focused on Babylon. The people of this world will see the judgment of God and be in great fear. But the church in heaven will see the judgment of God and rejoice greatly. So in 1 hour, you can see there, in 1 hour, Babylon's going to be destroyed. But just think now, this Babylon is capital of everything. The banking capital of the world, the television capital of the world, the news capital of the world. Everything's going to be in Babylon. Every entity, every business, the head of every business is going to be in Babylon. And when it is destroyed, all those things are going to be destroyed with it, see? So when people see what's going on in Babylon from all these other countries, they're going to say, the head of everything in Babylon is going to be destroyed in 1 hour. And that's just amazing, you know. It's just amazing. Everything's going to be destroyed. And of course, it's going to bring great fear. If God can destroy the great city of Babylon in 1 hour, how long is it going to take him to destroy the rest of the world? You know, I mean, the rest of the people see. So, and they know. I mean, you know, they know where they're at. It says that when they looked in a moment, they said God's judgment has come upon you. Yeah. So again, they know it's God's judgment that has come upon them. I mean, it's still amazing, you know, that they know that this God's judgment, and they know what's going on in Babylon isn't right, but there's where the money's being made, you know. So that's what they're going to do. Okay, Debbie, we'll start with verse 11, and we'll try to bring this to what's going on with us today, what's going on in verse 11, and what's going on with us today.
The merchants of the world will weep and mourn for her, for there is no one left to buy their goods.
All right, so it says the merchants of the world will weep and mourn because no one left to buy their goods. Remember, Babylon is also where the beast is, and it's where Babylon also controls the mark of the beast. So remember, Babylon is controlled, it's where the mark of the beast, and only with the mark can you buy or sell, and now Babylon is being destroyed. So the monetary system is being destroyed. The mark of the beast is being destroyed. How can the people buy and sell? What can you buy and sell with? You can't buy and sell. You can't do anything unless you have the mark of the beast. And now that is going to be destroyed, see? And so that system is going to be destroyed. We'll talk a little bit more about that system. But I wanted to talk about the mark of the beast. Because you see now, I mean, just recently, you see now how easy it is for people to be persuaded to do something maybe they don't want to do, you know. And I'm going to correlate this with the coronavirus and the vaccine, which the vaccine is not the mark of the beast. So let me put that out there for someone sends us. But you see how it started out. Now you think about this, how we can parallel this. It started out, it was a volunteer thing. Please get vaccinated. You know, there'll be the same thing. The mark will be a volunteer thing. Please take the mark. You know, it's better for you. Then there was lotteries. There's still one more lottery in North Carolina. And then there's you take the vaccine and you might win $1 million. $1 million. So there was lotteries all over the place. So you imagine the people that don't want to get to Mark of the Beast, that they said, well, if we'll have a lottery system and you might win $1 million if you get to Mark of the Beast. Now I understand in North Carolina, just starting this week, for those of us that have got the vaccine, and I have been vaccinated. I'll say that I've been vaccinated and I've had the coronavirus. So I'll say that I'm not saying
Before or after? Well, I'll just leave that.
well, that was after I was vaccinated, and after I was vaccinated, I got the coronavirus. And so anyway, so I'm not. For those out there on the camera, those out there in the social media land, I'm not talking about not getting vaccinated. I'm just saying. But now here in North Carolina, if you get vaccinated, you get $100. So they'll give you $100 to get vaccinated. See, now you correlate that. See. But now I see also that there's some places that's saying, all right, you can't go to a restaurant unless you've been fully vaccinated. Now think about that. There's some places you can't go to a ball game, you can't go to a theater, you can't go. Some people are saying if you work at a certain job, unless you're fully vaccinated, you can't go to work. You're going to lose your job, see? So this thing that started out as a volunteer thing now has become mandatory in some places. And there's all kinds of different legislatures in different states and even in the nation that's trying to make it mandatory that you take this vaccine. So what started out as a volunteer thing now has become almost mandatory for certain folks. It is mandatory. You get the vaccine by a certain time or you don't have a job, you know. So you think about this, how you correlate this with the Mark of the Beast, how it's going to start out. We talked about that, how it's going to start out. Everybody get to Mark, it's going to be a good thing. If you don't want to get to Mark, fine. But you see with this vaccine how you can parallel that. So it's going to be to where you're forced to going to get to Mark of the Beast, or you're going to be an outcast in society. And that's the way this vaccine is going along. Certain places, if you're, in the Bible, when someone had a sickness, like leprosy, they would have to run through the streets yelling, unclean, unclean, unclean. It's almost to the point now, if you don't get vaccinated, you'll have to be unvaccinated, unvaccinated, unvaccinated. I mean, so.
Have to wear a little star or badge or something.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, see, well.
Anyways.
So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that I mean, old time preachers that we read their books, Spurgeon and all the great ones, and I don't want to call out their names. I guess I made wrong out their names. They would teach this stuff, but they couldn't see how this could be implemented, how it could come to pass. Like we said before, some of those guys, they taught about Israel being destroyed. They wouldn't know Israel would be destroyed. There was people laughed at them because there was no nation of Israel, but now there is a nation of Israel. See, and so people look and say, well, this is America. We're not going to be forced to do anything. They can't force us to do this stuff. Well, now you find out they can't force you to do this stuff.
Trying really hard.
Yeah, you can't be forced to do this stuff. I'll say, well, we're free. Yeah, we're free to do what they tell us to do. If we don't do what they tell us to do, we may not be free any longer. So we'll see. So it's an exciting time to be a Christian. It's an exciting time to teach the Bible. It's an exciting time to talk to people about the Word of God, because you can see how this thing can come to pass. So when you tell somebody today about the Word of God, and they say, you've been talking that kind of stuff, they've been saying that for years, you say, but look what's going on in this world today. Exactly. See how this can come. Yeah, see how this could come to pass. See, you can see how it can come to pass. Okay. Let's see, 12 through 17. I guess it's going to be, is it Jimmy, 12 through 17?
You want me to do that in the Bible or off the sheet?
The Bible's fine.
The Bible?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thyine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beast, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of all these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off with the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships, and sailors as many as trade by sea, stood afar off.
Wow. Now, okay, I'll read down here what I've got, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
The Babylon system, which is here today, but won't be in its fulfillment until the tribulation period. So the Babylon system's here already, but it's just not in its fulfillment. Took the devil many years to build up, and Christ will destroy it all in 1 hour. So it took the devil many years to get this thing where he wanted it, and Christ will all destroy it in 1 hour. The residents of the capital city, Babylon, all of who have sold their souls to Satan, have been made rich with this world's wealth. And look, it says, look at the things they bought: gold, quantities of gold, silver. Anyway, not stuff that's on our shopping list. When you get your shopping cart at Walmart, you go down through Walmart, are you putting in gold and silver and fine linen? And Jimmy just read a tremendous amount of stuff in here. I'll try to get. She brought cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, wagons, bodies, and even slaves. Even slaves. See, if you don't live in Babylon, you live somewhere else, someone might gather you up and say to someone in Babylon to be a slave to people in Babylon. They said here, the fancy things you love so much, they're gone, the luxuries are gone forever. I mean, and you think about that, all these great things, how terrible it was to see she was clothed in the finest purple, scarlet, linens decked out with golds and precious stones and pearls. I mean, that's a shopping list. That's the way the people lived. They lived like that. The people that lived there had it all. And the people that didn't live there, they wanted to live there. See? That's Babylon. So if you lived in the great city of Babylon, you could afford everything. The riches were so great. You could have anything you wanted. But now if you didn't live there, you was trying to get there to live there, see? And it had everything you could think of. So that's why it's going to be the capital of the world. And that's why these people are going to sell their souls to Satan. Because all the great desires of their heart is going to be at Babylon. Everything they ever wanted was going to be at Babylon. All the riches of the world was going to be at Babylon, and they were going to be a part of that. You in today's world, you'd say you'd have to be a millionaire to live there, and everybody that lived there was millionaires. Think about that. Wow. I mean, we have sections or parts of this country that, that's where millionaires live. That's where millionaires live, we're not going to live there, But think about a whole city like that. Everybody lived there, and that's the capital of Babylon. All right, verse 18, Mary. Well, take your time.
Okay, I got it. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is likened to this great city?
All right, I got down there. This city was not so much for the loss. They cried was not so much for the loss of the city, but for their personal loss. Money sold for good. So they knew what great loss they had. See, they knew what great loss they had. And so they cried, what city was as great as this? And it's another thing we talk about this city as it being a new city built, because they're saying, what city has ever matched this city? What city was as great as this city? We got some great cities in the world today, but none of them is going to match this city. None of them is as great as this city. And that's what they're saying. What city was as great as this city? And then these great merchants, they cried, because there was no one going to buy their gold, their purple, their myrrh, their silk, their linen. That's where all the money was. And now it's been destroyed. In fact, there's not going to be any currency to buy. There's no way to buy. You see on TV today, they say, well, the dollar's going to do this, invest in this thing, or invest in that thing. And maybe that will be a temporary monetary system. But we know that the monetary system is going to be the mark of the beast. That's going to be the monetary system. No matter what you invest in, somehow you're going to have to turn that in and put that into your mark. And that's how you're going to make your money. You're going to get paid, buy, sell, trade, whatever with that mark, you know. So that's what the monetary system is going to be. We already know that. God already tells us. All right, verse 19, Cassie.
And they will weep and throw dust on their heads to show their grief, and they will cry out, how terrible for that great city. The ship owners become wealthy by transporting her great wealth on the seas. In a single moment, it is all gone.
In a single moment, it's all gone. Okay, I got down here. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. That's what the Bible tells us. How long did it take New York City to be New York City, or Los Angeles to be Los Angeles, or Paris to be Paris, or London to be London? Can you imagine these cities being completely destroyed in 1 hour? Now you think, how long has New York been, how long has there been in New York? I don't know. 150 years, 200 years? I don't know how long there's been in New York. Huh? A long time, see. This city is going to be greater than New York. And it's going to be in 7 years, it's going to be greater than New York. I mean, you think about that. It's going to be the greatest city of all time, and in just a short period of time. And, you know, and we think it's been, you know, New York's been over 100 years, Los Angeles, Paris, before New York was Paris, before that was London. You know, can you imagine in 1 hour those cities, everything in that city, every person in that city, everything in that city being completely destroyed in 1 hour? You say it couldn't happen. No, it's unbelievable. But that's what's going to happen in 1 hour. Everything, you know, is going to be completely destroyed. That it took years and years. I don't know whether there's 6 million, 7 million, 8 million people live in New York City. All the businesses, all the buildings, everything being leveled completely in 1 hour. Think about that. And it took years for those cities to be what they are today. I mean, they're there for years and years and years. But this city is going to be greater than that city. It's going to be larger than that city. It's going to be bigger than those cities. And it's going to be destroyed in 1 hour. Woo! Think about that. All right, what is that? Verse 19? Chip or Faith back there, verse 20.
Rejoice over her faith, O heaven, and people of God, and apostles and prophets. For at last God has judged her for your sakes.
The last God has judged. Think about that. So, while the world mourns in heaven, there'll be great rejoicing. For not only because the city of Babylon is destroyed, but because Satan's worldly system is also destroyed. So there's going to be great, great rejoicing in heaven. That's where we're going to be, right? All of us are going to be in heaven. We're going to look down. We're going to see the great city destroyed, and we're going to just be happy and rejoicing and being great because that Satan's system, the Babylonian system, the satanic system that runs this world is going to be destroyed. So while the world is going to sit back and mourn and cry and carry on, we're going to be happy and rejoicing in heaven. We, you know, and we're going to be getting prepared to come back and finish it up. You know, we're going to be getting prepared to come on back and finish this thing up. Wow! All right, I don't. My time is good. Verse 21. Chip.
Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a huge millstone. He threw it into the ocean and shouted, "Just like this, the great city Babylon will be thrown down with violence and will never be found again."
Okay, there you go again. We see things a little bit different than what we've seen before. It says with violence. With violence. We need to get ready. The fight is about to start, and we will be in it. And the word violence describes it. With violence. Mm-hmm. Wow, see? I mean, you know, everybody talks about peace and love, and those things are good, and we need to talk about those things. And kindness, but the world's going to get ready for violence. And we're going to get ready to cause violence on the world. We're in heaven now. We're coming back with the Lord, chapter 19. And this is with violence. So it says, I don't know. Now you think about this. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a huge millstone. and threw it into the ocean and shouted, just like this, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down with violence. I like that. And will never be found again. Completely destroyed. Never to be found again. Talks a little bit more about it in verse 21. Debbie, if you would, 21. Or maybe 22, wherever it's at. Where am I at? 20. I can't find it. 22. Read 22 through 23. Let's get it all in there.
The sound of harps, singers, flutes, and trumpets will never be heard in you again. No craftsmen and no trades will ever be found in you again. The sound of the mill will never be heard in you again. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The happy voices of brides and grooms will never be heard in you again. For your merchants were the greatest in the world, and you deceived the nations with your sorceries.
All right, with the sorceries. I'll get here. The merchants, the merriment has ended. All the factories and businesses were closed. Not only closed, but destroyed. All the workers were destroyed. Everybody was destroyed. No more marriages, no more sorceries, no witchcraft, no devil worshippers. All that will end, all that stuff that goes on. Remember, all the capital of evil is going to be there. The bright lights in the city will be gone forever. All that is gone. Gone forever, the Bible says. And we're going to finish it up with verse 24. Okay, Jimmy, I'll have you read verse 24. Mary, I'm going to have you go to John chapter 8, verse 44. Cassie, John chapter 10, verse 10. And Faith, 12:9. Revelation 12:9. I'll figure it out here. It's down here somewhere. I looked at him. I don't know why I looked at him. You know what's in my head. Revelation 12:9. So, okay, so Jimmy will let you read, and then after Jimmy reads, and Mary, you read, and then Cassie, you read, and then Faith, you read.
And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
Okay, John 8:44.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Wow, pretty strong stuff. All right, Cassie, John 10:10.
The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life.
All right, and Revelations 12:9.
This great dragon, the ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, is thrown down to the earth with all his angels.
So now you hear this description. Then Jimmy just read, in your streets flowed the blood of the prophets of God's holy people, and the blood of the people slaughtered all over the world. Not only is the city destroyed, but spiritual Babylon is also destroyed with it. As we have said previously, this anti-Christian system has been opposing God since the Garden of Eden. This has been here forever. What did Mary write? You're a murderer. You're the father of murderers. You've been a murderer from the beginning. See, from the very beginning. And at the end of chapter 18, let me remind you that since chapter 4, none of this has been about the church. So this has all been about Israel and the nation of Israel. But look at what the Bible said. The devil came to do what? Kill, steal, and destroy. Everybody's running over to Babylon to live a great life. But the devil ain't got nothing for those people. He came to kill, steal, and destroy. He's killing them. He's destroying them. He's going to take them in and deceive them, see? And that's what his purpose is. And Mary said he was a murderer. He's a murderer and been a murderer from the beginning. From the beginning of time, that's who's killed all the prophets. That's who killed all the people of God, is the devil in that demonic system. That's where the blood of all of God's people is run deep. Besides the blood of the Israelites is going to be running deep. They're going to try to kill Israel in the tribulation period of time. Besides that, but all the prophets from the beginning of time have been in this satanic system. And then read again Revelation 12:9. Let's describe this guy that everybody's bound down to worship. Everybody loves him. He's their king. They're crazy about him. What does it say about him in Revelation 12:9?
This great dragon, the ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, was thrown down to the earth with all his angels.
The one deceiving the whole, the dragon, the serpent, Satan, that old devil. Think about that. And these people they know they're doing wrong, see? They know they're worshiping the devil. They know they're worshiping Satan. They know he's the evil one, the deceiver of the whole world. And all of his angels and everything, where are they at? They're right there in Babylon. Right there deceiving the whole world. Wow. And I don't know if the pastor wants to elaborate on this, but that ends 18.
Praise God.
Praise God. 19 is a great chapter, guys. 19, there's going to be some horses and riders, and 19 is a great chapter, and we'll get to 19. I don't know when we'll get to 19. I know I won't be here next Wednesday, but it'll be the week after, and so I don't know what I wanted to finish up 18 tonight. In case the pastor had something special in mind for next Wednesday, I have no idea, so, but we'll start 19, I'm going to say the Wednesday after next.
Yes.
But you guys will like 19 now.
It's a good one.
You're going to like it. You're going to like it. It's good stuff.
We get back to talking about us.
No, yeah, we're finally where we at here? We ain't talked about us for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Any questions about chapter 18? Any discussions about 18? Think about it now. It's going to all happen quickly. When this thing starts wrapping up, it's going to all wrap up very, very quickly. Those need to be ready. We need to be ready. Yes, sir.
I got one question. Sure. Babylon said destroyed in 1 hour. That means all its inhabitants too, right?
Everybody. Yes, sir. All the inhabitants, everything. If it's the greatest city of all time, and there's cities on the earth. I don't know how many people live in Mexico, the capital of Mexico, or how many people live in Los Angeles, or how many people. But these cities have millions of people. This city's going to have more. Maybe as many as 25, 30 million people live there. Some people estimate 50 million people live there. They're going to be all destroyed in 1 hour. Boom. And guys, how are they going to be destroyed? Earthquakes, fire coming down from heaven, tornadoes, hurricanes. I mean, God's going to he doesn't have to use man's stuff. He's going to use his stuff and destroy that. And it's all going to hit him at one time, You imagine having 50 tornadoes and 4 or 5 hurricanes and 50 earthquakes and stuff hit you all at once. Boom. When we look at how God destroyed people in the Old Testament and how God handled people, he did it with his natural stuff. Wind, rain, fire, hail, Hail, storms, hail is the biggest boulders. Wow. What weapon can stop that? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's right. Everything's going to be destroyed. Anything else? All right. I'm going to say like, share, and subscribe. And get ready for 19. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to wrap this thing up by January or
somewhere.
Yeah, we got. So, yeah, like, share, and subscribe. It's been wonderful.